Next stop for the Beagle was Bahia, on the coast of Brazil. The Atlantic crossing was rough on Charles, who suffered terrible seasickness. So, soon after reaching Bahia, he was off on an expedition into the surrounding tropical forest. A whole new world compared to the sedate English countryside.
Delight is a weak term to express the feelings of a naturalist who, for the first time, has wandered by himself in a Brazilian forest. Such a day brings a deeper pleasure than he can ever hope to experience again. A most paradoxical mixture of sound and silence pervades the shady parts of the wood. The noise from the insects is so loud that it may be heard even in a vessel anchored several hundred yards from shore. Yet within the recesses of the forest, a universal silence appears to reign.
After a short stay in Bahia, the Beagle traveled south to Rio de Janeiro, already a busy trading port. Fine carriages rolled down the city streets. A palace and great cathedral faced the harbor. While the Beagle crew laid in supplies and prepared for the voyage ahead, Charles arranged an expedition inland into the rainforest. The landscape enthralled Darwin, who rode through forests of palm and exotic trees, rising higher than a ship's mast, blotting out the sun with lush foliage. From the treetops came the sound of monkeys and brightly colored birds, from large toucans to small hummingbirds. And hanging down from the trees were all manner of vines and Spanish moss, home to spiders, butterflies, and wasps. Charles was impressed by the army ants, who could cover the forest floor in a horde of marching columns, and he marveled at the work of termites whose cone-shaped nests rose up as high as 12 feet, twice Darwin's size. The snakes, too, were king-size, like the anaconda, a dangerous water-going snake as much as 30 feet long. In and among these giants, there were hundreds of unique organisms that caught Darwin's eye. He made special note of an insect whose camouflage made it look just like a twig of dry wood. There was a moth that could disguise itself as a scorpion, another moth that could disguise itself to look like dead leaves, complete with holes, and a beetle that could assume the colors of poisonous fruit to ward off birds. Charles noted the camouflage and the important role it played in protecting one organism from another that would have it for lunch. The whole teeming rainforest might look like the Garden of Eden, but the naturalist in Darwin recognized the fierce struggle for existence going on around him, and the strange and wonderful tactics plants, insects, and animals used to increase their chances of survival. Charles was excited by the new specimens he collected and by what he might learn by studying them. He wrote to his old teacher Henslow,
"I never experienced such intense delight. I'm at present red-hot with spiders, and if I'm not mistaken, I have already taken some new genera. I shall have a new box to send to Cambridge very soon."
By new genera, Charles meant new types of plants, insects, and animals that he was finding, at least new to naturalists back in Europe. He was beginning to realize that this voyage might make a significant contribution to science, and that he himself might help to make that contribution.